And now we have the fourth speaker from the city of Porto, Portugal, the mayor of the city, the mayor of Porto, Mr. Rui Moreira. You have the floor.
Well, thank you very much. Greetings to everyone. Regarding the well-being, it's almost impossible to define it in 5 minutes, but maybe I have to go back 11 years ago or 12 years ago when we decided to compete for the city of Porto, to run for the city of Porto as an independent platform without any parties. What we thought is, what do we want from a city? And we ended up with 2 words. We want the city to be comfortable and interesting. It's as easy as that. My mother prefers the city to be comfortable. She still wants it to be interesting. My children want it to be interesting, and they still want it to be comfortable. We were handling a crisis. We were the pigs of Europe. We had 13% unemployment. The municipality was more or less bankrupt. And the way that our predecessors had decided to handle the failure of economic policy was reducing investment in culture. So what we decided was to guarantee that on the first year we would spend 5% of our budget in culture, exactly in order to bring culture to the deprived people. When we had 13% unemployment, it was so important for people to be able to enjoy free culture in the city. Whereas we couldn't find jobs for them immediately. We wanted them to feel that the city was there, that culture was there, that the museums were open, that the theater was again open, the city was dancing again, and there was ballet. What happened in the forthcoming years is we reduced unemployment from 13% to 5%, which is basically the people who are not adjusted to the labor market or don't want to work, which is normal in Europe. We have reduced the debt to 0 and doubled the revenue of the city, and we multiplied the creation of jobs in IT by 400%. So it shows that culture is the key factor, I would call it the Swiss knife. If you look at one important aspect in a city, it is culture, because it affects directly every part of society, from the most deprived ones to the wealthiest ones, from the people who already are used to culture to the people who have no idea of what culture is about. We had children. We are a city which is on the Atlantic. We have a beach. The city is 44 square kilometers. It's small. It's a small Manhattan. When we took gypsy kids to the beach to do surfing, because we trained them in surfing and new sports, one of them told me, "Mayor, I'm so surprised the water is salty." Imagine, that kid lived 3 kilometers from the beach. So sports and culture, because sport is part of culture, is absolutely vital to make cities interesting. And it also allows cities to absorb tourism, because if a city is comfortable for its own residents, the residents understand tourism as a gain and not as an invasion. In a time when we have so many problems now with housing, we need to explain to the residents and to convince the residents that tourism, foreign investment is an opportunity. It's to reinvest what is coming from this sort of tide. As a tide, it brings fish. We need to make sure that the inhabitants of the city understand that the fish is staying in the beach and they are able to eat it. So that's basically what I would like to tell you about what is the well-being of a city.
I said comfortable and interesting. So you had those 2 visions, and so you've been a mayor since then. And what is your current vision for the city of Port?
Well, we have new threats and new targets. First of all, since we had lost, in 40 years, we had lost 30% of our population, our problem was not the rents, it was to repair houses. Now what we have is an influx of people, Portuguese, foreigners, nomads, tourists, and of course the price of houses has gone up. We have been buying houses from the private market and put them on the social housing scheme, but it will require my successor to continue that effort. So it's like, again, a turning tide. It's one matter which we just did not consider. It was not there. Rents were really cheap. And now, whereas people are making more money, the fact is some families are paying over 25% of their salary in terms of the rent, and that's too much for housing. That's one thing. Second thing, of course, is what we all are discussing: is mitigating climate change. Cities like ours, we can help fight climate change, but what we have to do is mitigation, and mitigation means planning. Planning means we are working on the parks so that the parks can absorb excessive rain, things like that. So it's extraordinary how in 10 years the demands, the threats and the opportunities on cities have changed so much. Finally, the question of kids and adjusting education for things like artificial intelligence. Education in Europe is a very, very conservative system. It changes very slowly. And for us, the cities, to prepare the people for the next generation threats and opportunities is another thing which we have to do. Again, we don't have the power. It's decided by the government, very often by the teachers' unions, but we have to convince them that our children have to learn things differently. Just to give you a very short example, whereas technology is very important, we will be replaced in technology very fast, but not in humanistic things. So again, kids have to understand history. They have to read books. They have to understand that the human part of culture will make the change, whereas machines will replace them. To convince teachers of that. 10 years ago, we were telling teachers we need more engineers. Now we need more people who have a vision, you see, and to change that will be the next target for our cities.
Okay, when you became a mayor, you focused on culture.
Yes.
Are you still emphasizing policy on culture?
Yes, we are. We have at the moment.
Can you give me some examples?
I can give you an example. 8% of the municipal spending is on culture, whereas the national budget is only 0.5%. So
0.5?
0.5 national, but in our city is over 8%. We are, for instance, delivering something which for us is very, very important, is libraries. We are decentralizing libraries. Now we have in every poor neighborhood decentralized libraries, and we deliver books, and we bring people in, and we offer music, and we bring the kids in. So civic centers connected to libraries. And libraries is not only for Portuguese books. No, we want people to come and to read Marguerite Yourcenar and to understand what is Mozart. And this is through a system of libraries. We really believe it's what makes a change. You know, someone was talking, I think it was the mayor of Tirana was talking early that he was not very concerned with CCTV, neither am I. My city is very safe, and I think it's safe because it's integrated, because people sort of control each other, you know. The presence in the street, public space, that's the big difference we are trying to achieve.